Chicago police have filed or charged 4 black individuals with a hate crime after a Facebook Live video showed evidence of these people torturing a mentally disabled man as he was bound. Now, the 4 people shown in a Facebook video attacking a mentally disabled man were cutting his scalp with a knife and punching him while yelling obscenities about Donald Trump and white people. Now, we have the video, or at least a snippet of, it was a 30-minute long video showing what occurred. It's very graphic, but I think it's important for everyone to see it, to understand the severity of this situation. And then I'll give you more details about who the perpetrators were and what type of punishment they face. Take a look.
Damn, you cut his
scalped,
with a whole patch out of his
bound, and beaten.
Look at him, tied up.
Police say this 18-year-old white man with special needs was tortured live on Facebook for a full 30 minutes. Police tell CNN they are aware of more videos allegedly showing the man forced to drink from a toilet.
Let me be very clear. The actions in that video are reprehensible. That, along with racism, have absolutely no place in the city of Chicago.
Okay, so this all allegedly occurred when his parents dropped him off at a McDonald's and then he went missing. I'm talking about the victim here. I do not know the identity of the victim. It hasn't been released yet. And so they drop him off at a McDonald's and then all of a sudden they start getting text messages from the alleged perpetrators indicating that they're harming him and doing what they're doing to him. At that point, police are alerted, and then cops later found him roaming the streets wearing nothing more than his shorts. Now, authorities believe that the 4 suspects here had met with him. He had willingly met with one of them because he was acquainted with that individual through school, and they stole some sort of van, and then he ended up in a home or an apartment, this place, and they had tied him up and said all sorts of hideous things to him while doing all sorts of hideous things to him. So the 18-year-old man is shown crouching in a corner. In the video carried on Facebook Live, his wrists are bound and his mouth is taped shut. As a woman shoots the video, 2 men cut the man's shirt with knives, then take turns punching him and stomping his head. One of the men cuts the victim's hair and scalp with a knife, and it appears the man is bleeding. About halfway through, someone says the man represents Trump and threatens to put him in the trunk of a car and put a brick on the gas. So investigators believe the man was targeted because he had special needs, not because he was white. But regardless of that, they have been charged with a hate crime, and race could potentially play a role in that.
Well, based on the quotes, it seems like it did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's specific references to race there. These are the sorts of things that hate crime laws are supposed to create bigger penalties for.
What is wrong? What is wrong with people?
Sick criminals.
It's just, it's incredibly, incredibly discouraging to know this kind of cruelty exists out there, especially when it comes to someone who's disabled, someone who can't defend himself, someone who is powerless.
Yeah.
And
then to some extent, you can sort of like, when someone steals a car or something, I mean, obviously it's a crime, but you can think, okay, they did that one thing really fast or something. Or like there's crimes to take someone and to tie them up and to literally torture them. And specifically the new like Black Mirror-esque, I'm gonna live stream it to Facebook thing, which by the way makes it way easier to convict them and to potentially convict them of a hate crime. So that was a good idea on their part. That's a special level of sick.
yeah, absolutely.
Horror.
There was a component to it where they thought this is going to go viral. This is great. They were Facebook living this.
Well,
I mean,
right, I guess.
Think about that for a second, right? Where they think there's nothing wrong with the fact that we are literally torturing this guy who is powerless to defend himself.
Yeah.
They think, who cares? Who cares? This is going viral. I am so happy that they got caught, and I'm so happy that look. Here's the bright side of this. They are caught, and they're going to face severe ramifications for what they've done. So who are they? Who are these people? First of all, let's take a look at their mugshots. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office said it had filed felony criminal charges against 3 18-year-olds. So there they are. The names are Jordan Hill, Tesfaye Cooper, and Brittany Covington, as well as Tanisha Covington, 24. In addition to the hate crime charges, some of them also face additional counts of aggravated kidnapping, aggravated battery, and aggravated unlawful restraint. Police said they had found nothing tying the kidnapping to Black Lives Matter or any other group. I wanted to quickly mention that, okay, because there are certain pundits that are booked on cable news shows because they say outrageous things and it increases ratings and it gets eyeballs to watch their shitty programs, okay? And then there are the police and the investigators who are actually dealing with the facts and the situation. So far, there is no indication that these people are part of any type of political organization, any type of group of people who are protesting. So far, nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Anyone who claims that it does, they're doing it either for attention, for a political agenda, or to smear a group of people who have legitimate concerns about the way policing happens in this country.
And even trying to portray the guy as a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
There's no evidence of that. Now, they mention Trump, so you can say that they have some sort of political objective. That's fine. There's actually evidence for that. There's no evidence for the rest of it. And so the people, by the way, who, when spreading this initially, immediately inject that into it, including Glenn Beck and a bunch of other sick individuals, they are showing that at the end of the day, they don't care at all about this guy. They have no empathy for that victim. He is a pawn for them to attack a political organization that they want to attack. And that's why I tweeted earlier that there's something fucked up when black on white crime gives you an orgasm. These people, this is the best day of the year for them. For some people, for some sick individuals, when they see a particular type of crime, they think, oh good, I can now attack a group that is in no way implicated in this crime. These are people who not only have no empathy, but go so far as that in all their interactions, I mean, we get attacked every day, they mock the very idea of having empathy for people. They don't know this guy's name, they will never find out, they don't care. They will set up no GoFundMes. Tomorrow they will have forgotten about this individual because for them it is about a political objective and not true empathy for a guy who went through something that no one should ever experience.
There is no one other than the most deplorable people on this planet who supports the actions of these people, right? And I also want to be clear about one thing, okay? Black Lives Matter, of course, gets smeared time and time again in the media, but it's par for the course when it comes to our corporate media to smear protesters, because these are people who try to question authority. These are people who want to change a system that has been long established and works in the favor of those who work in corporate media and, you know, the political system that we have in place to keep them down. If you want to use an example that has nothing to do with race, the same people who claim that they voted for Donald Trump because they feel like income inequality and wealth inequality and political injustice is a big problem in the country are the same people who also had lots of really negative things to say about Occupy Wall Street because they allowed the media to draw this narrative and smear Occupy Wall Street protesters as drug addicts, as losers, as bums. It happens over and over again. It doesn't matter what the movement is. It doesn't matter what the grievances are. It's a strategy that works over and over again. And so we focus on fighting each other instead of trying to improve a system that benefits us all, not just black people, but everyone in society that could potentially be a victim of police brutality.
Yeah.
Everyone in society that is already a victim of economic injustice, right?
Yeah.
And so the smearing happens in the media, not only because the corporate media loves it, but because it gets eyeballs on their programs, right? And again, we never accomplish anything. So I'm tired of my job, personally, being minimized to responding to idiots who get booked on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News. And so the real problem here is that a defenseless person was victimized and there should be justice for him. And luckily, these 4 people were arrested and there will be justice. That's the story. Yeah. Unless there is some evidence indicating that these people have anything to do with Black Lives Matter, that is not part of the discussion.
Exactly. And look, people try to say, they just want you to think that Black Lives Matter is a violent organization. That is the only thing they want. is for you to think that. And so when they make that case that Black Lives Matter is violent, what example do they give? They give the same example that they have for a long time, the fry 'em like bacon thing about the cops.
One
the
chant.
People, yeah, the chant. You know when that happened? That happened 18 months ago. Not only is Black Lives Matter not a violent organization, that's how goddamn nonviolent it is, that even asshole racists who are trying to smear it have to go 18 months back to a couple of people involved in one parade in an organization that has independent chapters in every American city.
And the
That's
amazing-
the best you have? You are admitting there that it is not a violent organization.
And look, the amazing part about all of this is the very clear double standard, right? You can have our president-elect go up there, say on the podium during the election that he wants to punch people in the face, right? Advocating or inciting violence, but that's okay. That's totally fine. And then you have some random individuals out there chanting fry 'em like bacon, and that's it. They have now painted a picture for an entire movement in the country, to the point where something like this happens, and that's it. It's immediately tied to that organization.
Yeah.
So that's what's
sad
going
people.
on, and it's depressing, because if you really genuinely care about justice, then you would focus on what the facts are. And in this case, the facts are that, again, a defenseless person was victimized, and we need to make sure that we carry out justice so stuff like this doesn't continue to happen. By the way, it's happened in Chicago, where crime is insane right now. That's another problem. So let's shift our focus on dealing with crime in Chicago as opposed to smearing people based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
Get the full 2-hour show ad-free. Become a member, tytnetwork.com/join.